flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
Mr. Cabrera.
I am here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County, the Gazette Leader, and the Press of Atlantic City on December 7th, 2022. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the way that you came in, which is your back right, or your front left, or our front right. This meeting is being shown live here today on our municipal Facebook page and also the YouTube page. In the event you would like to call in and ask a question or during the public comment section, you're welcome to dial, what's that noise?
Someone's car.
888-363-4734, and when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you watch the recorded version and you have questions, you're more than welcome to email our clerk at clerk@wildwoodcrest.org or call her directly at 609-729-8040. We have one ordinance for introduction on the agenda for this evening.
Yes, sir. It is ordinance 1400, and it reads as follows. Bond ordinance appropriating $6,600,000 and authorizing the issuance of $6,177,415 bonds or notes of the borough for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the borough of Wildwood Crest in the county of Cape May, New Jersey.
Motions that ordinance number 1400 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on May 24th, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Second.
It is moved and second that ordinance number 1400 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on May the 24th, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing capital budget amendment.
Motion.
No second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the appointment of 4 Class 2 police officers.
Motion.
No second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the reappointment of Jason Hesley as tax assessor with tenure.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is designating Constance Mann as Public Agency Compliance Officer for 2023.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase 200 dome-top litter containers with gravity latch and recycling inserts for Public Works Department under Sortswell Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is requesting permission for the dedication by rider for donations for the Crest Arts Pavilion Fund as required by NJSA 40A:5-29.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is requesting permission for the dedication by rider for donations for the Crest Arts Pavilion received in memory of Thomas Ridings, as required by NJSA 40A:5-29.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing refund of property taxes or utilities overpayment in the amount of $134 for property located at 401 East Stanton Road, made payable to Sharon Hogan.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing advertisement of notice of open public bidding at auction for lease of the Crest Arts Pavilion Cafe pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-14A of the local lands and building law.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing amendment to the 2023 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Safety Incentive Program.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing amendment to the 2023 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Wellness Incentive Program.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing amendment to the 2023 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the Cape May County Municipal Utilities Authority for the 2021 recycling.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing a peddling truck license to Big Top Ice Cream LLC for 2023.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is granting an adjusted 2023 sewer bill for the property at 97 West Myrtle Road.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending March 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Fire Company chief for the month ending March 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all minutes from the commission meetings dated March 22nd, 2023 and April 5th, 2023 be approved as presented.
Can I get a second?
Hey, you got it.
You got it. It has been moved and seconded that all minutes from the commission meetings dated March 22nd and April 5th, 2023 be approved as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thanks, Trish.
You're welcome.
Thank you, MC.
You got it.
And happy Administrative Professionals Day, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Trish, Francine's here, and everybody else. Okay, we're gonna change things up a little bit. We're gonna move right to the Chief of Police report, followed by Mr. Harwood.
All right, I will be speedy. Good evening. So I'm going to go over real quick the March report to the Commissioner of Public Safety. In the month of March, we had 1,514 calls for service. We had 252 criminal investigations, 286 service calls, alarms, citizen assist, fires, medical assist, school-related activities. 120 motor vehicle stops with 36 summonses issued. We had 401 property checks, 262 training hours, and 9 total arrests, 8 adult, 1 juvenile, and 1 DWI. And that will conclude my report, unless anybody has any questions.
I have none.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. For the departments I oversee, the Wildwood Crest Fire Company, they had a total of 17 runs for the month of March. We had 1 fire, we had 2 hazardous conditions, 2 service calls, 1 smoke condition, 11 false alarms, No mutual aid, so that's very good for the fire department. That's the fire department. For the, let's go to Crest EMS. We had a total of 61 calls for service. 25 were transported to the hospital. There was 15 refusals. 5 were canceled or a public assist. 16 standbys. Mutual aid, we had one from Wildwood to the borough of Wildwood Crest. We had a total of 6 mutual aid calls to the city of Wildwood, 2 to the city of North Wildwood, and 3 to Lower Township, for a total of 61 calls for the departments. We've been to the Fire Prevention Bureau. We did 430 inspections. We did 26 re-inspections, 5 life hazards, 1 re-inspection of life hazards, 2 follows for a total of 458 total inspections. Notice of violations sent was 79, certificates of inspection so far, 262. 6 sales of property, smoke detectors inspections for the month. For the Borough 5 here housing, we did a total of 8 units were inspected and 1 re-inspection. And lastly, moving into the emergency management, this quarter we had to update our emergency hazard mitigation plan, report progress to Tetra Tech. That was updated, thanks to Connie and Francine. We had like 7 on there. We're down to 3 that we actually cut off, or we're in progress and we're doing. So that's what the county quarterly reports to them, how we're making out on our hazard mitigation plans. So we're in pretty good shape there.
Awesome.
That is my report.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ron.
you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along, we're gonna slide right into the engineer's report. We're mixing it up today.
Wow.
Today's a day.
I might have to fix my agenda here.
All right, so I have 4 items here. I'm sure Connie's going to cover some other items. So the contractor for the reconstruction of Syracuse Avenue has completed all of the original work in that contract, with the exception of the final surface course paving. That's scheduled for next week. Additionally, the contractor is continuing to work on Bayview Avenue, which was work added to that contract. With all that being said, the contractor will have that work completed before Memorial Day, and so far so good. Second item, the contractor for the beach patrol renovations has mobilized to the site and is currently in the demolition phase. Next item is the contractor for the Beach Street and Public Access Improvement Project Phase 2 has completed all the platform decking on all of the streets, as well as the ramps that go from the decks to the beach. They are in the process of installing water main to bring water service to those street ends, as well as the railing. So things are shaping up there real well. Last item, the survey and mapping of the Bayside Bulkhead Replacement Project has been completed. We are now moving into the design and permitting phase. Once we get the bulkhead situation completed and submitted to the DEP, we will fall back on the other aspects of the project. So that's the priority. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Governing body, any questions for Mr. de Blasio?
I do not. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Public have any questions? Mr. McWilliams, you happy with the beach bump outs?
I could not be happier with what's going on. They are really, really.
I know you were shocked. You said, no way they can get all that done, but they're moving and grooving.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all staged. It's been very impressive.
Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody on the conference line, questions for Mr. de Blasio? Hearing none, we'll move on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, sir. Ongoing and upcoming projects. I'm going to skip over the beach bump outs because Mark handled that, and I agree with everyone that the contractor's doing a fabulous job. Outstanding. The Crest Arts Pavilion, after a very successful art show hosted by our Creative Arts Council, we are now down to just a few punch list items to complete the interior of the building. We expect to open it to the public on May 1st. Our Cape County open space application to the exterior site improvements is now in its final stage. It's a new process and it does require 2 stages. We hope to make some temporary landscaping improvements in the very near future, which we have made some out front, you will see, that are very nice, to get us through this summer until our award is announced and we can go out to bid for those exterior improvements. Pacific Avenue, the final striping is complete and the road is now open. I'm sure everyone's very happy to see that. I think the county did a great job and they were way ahead of schedule. Hereford Inlet, the DEP is currently acquiring easements for this project. It's a dune and berm that will encompass the entire island from Hereford Inlet to the Cape May Inlet. Expect that to be into construction in 2024 or maybe early of 2025, depending on how long the easements take. New Jersey Avenue, the county engineer has informed us that we should start the infrastructure work in the fall of 2024 in advance of their plans to start reconstruction in the spring of 2025. This project is expected to take at least 2 years. We have circulated a draft of the final plans, the striping plans from the county engineer, so that we can formally approve them at our next meeting, and they're out in circulation right now among all of the departments and our commissioners. Sunset Lake State Channel dredging, the DOT has been advertising in the newspaper, some of you may have seen it in the Herald, that they are starting phase 1 in the very near future, which will be from Wildwood to North Wildwood in the Back Bay areas, the dredging of the state channels. We will be in phase 2 of that project, and we expect that to be happening sometime next year after permitting and some acquisitions of real estate are complete. And that is a New Jersey DOT project completely funded by the state. While that is going on, we are also looking to dredge other areas of the lake to achieve more depth. And we are currently working on that with our federal congressmen as well as our state agencies. The CAFRA application, we expect to hear back from DEP on our CAFRA IP permit on or before May 15th, so we should have everything in place then. Washington Avenue Brick Planning Study is currently underway. Mark's office is doing an in-depth study of the Washington area flooding issues. That was funded by a $70,000 FEMA grant, and our contribution match is $23,000 on that. EV charging stations, we've been given a 1-year extension on our tourism grant and our clean energy grant. These 2 grants will provide funding towards the purchase and installation of 2 chargers for 6301 Ocean and DCFC, which are fast chargers for some other locations, as well as a $4,000 incentive grant for 2 Chevy Bolts. As far as the 2023 DCA Small Cities Grant, we just received word that we did receive our grant funding in the amount of $342,000. And that is being used to renovate municipal bathrooms here and at Crest Pier, and that will subsidize those improvements. That's all I have.
Okay, governing body, any questions for our administrator?
Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. No, I'm good.
Public, any questions for our administrator on the administrator's report? Hearing none. Conference line, anybody have any questions for our administrator on her report? Just one quick comment on the New Jersey Avenue project. I just want to thank Connie and Steve and Public Works and the guys for getting the New Jersey Avenue temporarily cleaned up. I know it's a work in progress. We have a grand opening, just FYI for everybody. Brandon's Pancake House and Ice Cream Parlor was opened last Monday. Friday, May the 12th, is the Be Soul Wellness Studio on the corner of Cardinal and New Jersey. So if we can kind of work towards getting whatever we need to do, some things in place to make sure it's nice and clean and tidy, appreciate it all. Okay, that does it for our administrator's report. Moves us on to correspondence. I have none listed here on the agenda. There is no new business. Under old business, anything new to report? Let's see, we've got traffic study. We just talked about it at the last meeting. Anything to report on that? Mr. de Blasio, anything? Nothing? All right. Table that for the next one. Code enforcement. Anything on that?
Nothing yet, no.
Nothing on that? Crest Arts Pavilion lease. We authorized notice to bidders here this evening, so we could take that one off for the next meeting.
You got it.
Back Beach excavation is on hold until we hear from the DEP and the Army Corps on the commencement of that project. Flood mitigation projects, phase 1 of the bay front bulkheads, the infrastructure for as far as the outfall lines has all been introduced in that funding. So, and in your report, Mr. de Blasio, you mentioned about the permitting and so forth, so that project is tracking as planned. Okay. Dredging, Commissioner?
Connie just touched on pretty much everything, so.
All right. CAFRA permit, we said May 15th. On that CAFRA permit, I will say I'm getting requests from a lot of the oceanfront property owners. The sand from the winter is blowing over the bulkhead and the streets and the pools and so forth. I advise them that we can't touch that sand until we get the permit. So we're waiting for that permit. As soon as we get that permit, then we will need to advise Public Works to go ahead and start removing the sand off the bulkhead. That is part of that permit, as I recall.
Correct.
As well as the sand that covers the fishing pier. Okay. New Jersey Avenue infrastructure, pre-county, so we're working towards 2024. Public Works roof, that is also in the funding that we just introduced. It's a fall project. Nothing on the office moves. Bayfront, we just talked about that. So how about we take off the, let's see, we got flood mitigation projects. That's pretty much the same thing as the Bayfront outfalls, is it not?
Yep.
All right, let's scratch flood mitigation projects and just consolidate it down to Bayside outfalls.
Got it.
Arch Pavilion exteriors, county open space, I believe the formal application has been filed, all right. Washington Avenue Seaview, that's, I believe the study has just been completed, or has been
It
completed.
should be completed within the next 3 weeks.
Okay. Update landscaping and lighting and so forth, I touched on that under the administrator's report. All right, that brings us to, that's it under old business, brings us to our, second round of public comments. Anybody have public comments? Yes, sir.
Joe Viscomi, 308
No, no, no,
Washington.
you don't need your address anymore, sir.
Okay. I actually have show and tell. I actually have a Homes magazine from 1995. I actually wish I had one 28 years in the future. But we are a vibrant community, and thanks for the management that got us here. When you look at the prices, the one that's highlighted is one of our first house, went from 100,000. Today, those houses are going for 750 to 800,000. So I think we're a great community. Some of that was we did zoning. One of the reasons why I actually sold that house, I wanted to improve that, and we had changed some of the zoning to avoid overbuilding. So when I looked at what I needed to do to conform, it didn't make sense. So I sold that house and bought another home, and it was a good move. And for the neighbors, it was a good that I didn't try to overbuild that house. It would have been overpowering for the street. So going forward, and I know this isn't the planning and zoning, please, as commissioners and the mayor, make sure that we don't overuse the variance procedure. And I know that's not for here, but you, as commissioners and the mayor, we need to make sure that we stick to some of the basic rules. And there's no reason to buckle into developers or builders that are coming in with an agenda. We're doing well. We're doing great. There's houses being sold for $2 million, which was unheard of. So, and again, the planning that went on to get us here, I think, and we've had a mayor, several terms. So it's the same people, and they've done a lot of good things. So let's go forward, but I worry that we shouldn't be breaking or changing rules to help one or two people out. I've always felt that somebody who's been in a home for 20 years or 30 years and wants to make an improvement and asking for a change, that's something else. So again, let's continue to move. And when we look at this, like I said, it's almost amazing that what we thought of spending $100,000 for is worth 8 times that today. So thank you. But
Thank you.
again, I know that it's 2 separate boards, but there's some interaction between both of them.
Thank you.
Dave McWilliams. First item is a heartfelt thank you to the work that went on today on New Jersey at 8105. I know it was a long road to get us to a point where we could address what was going on that property. Public Works was there for quite a while, took away quite a bit. We'll look forward to fewer mosquitoes and other issues over the course of the summer. So I thank you, and I'll thank you on behalf of the rest of my neighbors. Secondly, I'd asked the commissioners a while back if you had any thoughts about considering changes to dogs on the beach during the season. My thought is perhaps sometime in the morning before people actually get to the beach. I'm not a big proponent of the evenings because people stay on the beach, lots of people stay on the beach till all hours. But I would certainly think that pick a time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, up till 9 o'clock, dogs on the beach between May and September should be something that works for all of us, and I'd ask you to consider that. I know it's been a discussion in the past. So, thank you.
I do know, we did discuss that, I'm gonna say, within the last 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
And if I could go back and summarize what I thought was the outcome, I believe the governing body was fundamentally okay with the concept. There was a little bit of work that had to be done internally with maybe check with the beach patrol, police enforcement and so forth, and I think we were just waiting for that recommendation to come from our department heads, and if it all looked as though it was possible, then I think it requires an ordinance change to do that. So that's
Yes, it does.
roughly a 60-day process
Mhm.
ballpark. So if I could ask anybody, Mr. Shear, Chief Lloyd, if you all could weigh in on that, if you could get together with Chief Johnson and then maybe make that recommendation as far as time frame. I think what we had talked about was before 9 o'clock in the morning, off the beach by 9, and in the evening past 6 o'clock or 5:30, whenever the beaches are guarded, there's definitely no dogs. But so before and after, and that was it. So I think that was the loose discussion that happened at the last meeting. So we'll wait for our department heads to get back to us, and we'll circulate that to our solicitor and our clerk if there's going to be an ordinance change.
Very good.
Right? You're welcome. Okay, any more public comments? Here, anybody in the room, public comments? Anybody in the conference line have any public comments? Okay, I'll go, I think I missed the first round of public comments, my apology, I scribbled over the section on the agenda. So I'll go back to it again. Last round for public comments. Does anybody have any more public comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move into commissioner comments.
All right, I'll grab that. First of all, I'd like to, this Monday, Captain James Gruel retired after 25 years of service as captain for the Wildwood Fire Department, and also he's our code official and still is. So I just wanted to say congratulations to him. Other than that, I think we're moving forward into the summer, and we're trying to get there.
Sounds good.
I'll be brief. Typically not a fan of comparing municipalities, but after reviewing other towns' budgets and tax increases, we are being fiscally responsible, in my opinion. Speaking with Director Desiderio last week, he applauded municipalities that were able to stay under a penny increase, which Wildwood Crest was able to do. Last meeting, I just wanted to highlight our CFO, the finance department, and all of our department heads were working together to maintain one of the lowest increases in the county. And to kind of echo what Commissioner Siff just said, with James Grohl, congratulations and good luck. That's my comment.
Thank you, sir. All right. So just a reminder to everyone, this coming Saturday, April 29th at 8:15 a.m., we're going to meet the Crest Pier for our annual wellness walk. It's a nice swag. If the weather is iffy, you may want to call the Crest Pier first just to make sure that the event is on. If it looks bad, we may postpone it to a later date. Following week, May 6th, we have our weight class clinic. It's a series of weight classes hosted by Marianne Viscomi at the Crest Arts Pavilion. So if you're not, the information is also on our webpage, but it's also on the borough's wellness Facebook page as well. Wanted to personally thank the Thomas Ridings Estate for their donation of $10,000 to the Borough of Wildwood Crest, which has been dedicated to the Crest Arts Pavilion. In working through those details, Francine, who's not here, roughly $8,000 of that can be spent by the borough to do improvements and whatever the Arts Pavilion needs. The other $2,000 an ongoing fund has been created once we get the approval from the state. For anyone else that is looking to donate, I know that the Arts Pavilion and arts in general are always near and dear to people, and if they're looking for an opportunity to donate, we'll make sure that the money goes to good use for the building. Phase 2 of that project is the exterior part of the building. We're going to kick it off and launch it, formally open it next week. The Recreation Department's going to staff it, and we'll be off and running basically for the rest of the year. But I wanted to make the public aware of that donation, but also that if there's anyone out there that wants to donate to the municipality for the purposes of that building, that the fund has been created. If you haven't heard, the pickleball courts are now officially open. The courts look beautiful. They're really nice and colorful. Getting a lot of good positive comments on that. It's still under construction. There's a shade structure that's been on back order that's going to come roughly in the first week in June. So as soon as that gets here, the concrete footings will be put in, and then the rest of the project will be finishing up right after Memorial Day. The borough has also partnered with the Jersey, the Youth and Junior Triathlon Program for Cape May County. So they'll be using the pool facility, but if anyone knows of any kids that want to, when I say kids, 9 to 12 and teenagers, high school, that want to learn about swimming, biking, and running, there is a program now that the borough is working with to promote that, along with all the schools in Cape May County. And lastly, good news is as to Commissioner Franco's point, borough being fiscally responsible, we were just awarded this week a DCA grant in the amount of $342,720 for the purposes of upgrading our bathrooms at the Crest Pier and also here at Municipal Hall. That is all I have for the good of the order.
Mr. Mayor, I think you forgot to mention the borough-wide yard sale is
Borough-
May 6th.
Borough-wide yard sale is May the 6th. That's correct. And it's free. Just
Yep.
coordinate through the Recreation Department. We used to charge for that, but
We
now
did.
it's free.
Mhm.
And there's a second one coming in October as well. So if you missed the first one, there'll be another one coming. Okay, that's all I have. How about we entertain a motion for going into closed session?
Yep. So I have a resolution authorizing executive closed session in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-12B, with regard to 3 issues, a litigation update and 2 potential litigation issues.
Motion?
Second, Tricia.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Okay, I have 5:31. You want to take 3 minutes?